The Jim and Terry Show, Christmas themes. Ho, 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 ho. I did write a song for Christmas. Put it up on SoundCloud. You can check it out. The Joy of Christmas.
Oh.
Not a spiritual theme, more like a ho, 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 Santa Claus and Christmas shopping and window dressings and all that stuff. But, you know, a crooner style. Something I just felt like doing. And Ray Brooks came along and did it.
I like your crooner sort of jazzy style.
Yeah, maybe I'll...
That's my favorite part of Terry Wigmore. Is that, and I don't know what that is. Something's squirting at us.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's back.
Oh no, it comes in twice.
I like Christmas. I've got a couple of things I'm going to have to probably do at church. Sunday should be very, very simple and easy because there's a children's play, so there's not going to be really a message. More of a
Is the church
dismissal.
open on Christmas, or is this going to be your Christmas
We're going to
service
have
on Sunday?
this is the pageant. The church will see what is happening. This will be the last Sunday before Christmas.
Yes.
Then there's Christmas Eve, which also will be a short message. And then one more message after that. I think it's the 29th, is it? And then our church is going to have an interim pastor come in for a while. And
a supply pastor.
A supply pastor, yeah. And then that'll take the load off me and anybody else who needs to prepare sermons and stuff. And I'm fine with that. You know, I probably wanted things to go a little bit longer, but that's beside the point. One of my favorite passages in the scriptures is consider everybody better than yourself and do nothing out of selfish ambition. So God may have spoke to someone else and said, get moving, you need an intern pastor. So
take the load off of everybody.
Take the load off, Jimmy. Take the load.
Was that the band? Who was that?
The band.
It was. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
And not a bad rendition of it. Yeah, I learned to play that when I was a teen. I don't know what age I was.
They were a great band. They had just this great image too. They looked like out of 1800s or something. You know, that's what they looked like.
Well, that takes me to the Traveling Wilburys, who also looked the same.
Yeah.
So very
I
similar.
kind of like that sort of manly kind of dirt look.
Manly dirt. Now
unshaved dirt look. You know.
Yeah, write a song about manly dirt.
Give me the jug and I'll write a song.
Yeah, give me a jug, the old brown jug.
We were talking. Your dead dog be about your dong? No, we don't want that.
Dyslexic dog be about God. Okay. We were going to talk about Christmas themes, and I did allude to budgets as being one of them, and budgeting for Christmas and how that used to be. I mean, when I was down and out with, I graduated from school, hadn't got a full-time teaching gig yet. I was doing supply teaching, so you supply preaching.
Yeah.
I did supply teaching. I had night school. I had summer school. I had all these things that I had to do in order to make an income that was reasonable. But I'm wondering whether, the budgeting was tough. So Christmas, when everybody else had full-time jobs, and I didn't, it was sort of awkward at times, because you were trying to compete with everybody else who had money to buy gifts for our kids. We had to reciprocate to buy gifts for all the cousins, all the nephews and nieces, and we really didn't have 2 cents to rub together. It becomes awkward.
It does, and the sad thing is I keep reflecting back on the stories I used to hear and the stories that are very real about, we used to, not me, but the person telling the story, they're probably long since gone and in the grave, but we used to just, if we got an orange, it was out of this world. Where did you get an orange?
We used to get a tangerine stuck in the stocking.
Yeah. And I'm thinking back in the days of maybe the prairies and back in the days when America was first founded.
Pioneer life.
Christmas would have been all about the birth of Christ.
Yep.
And the gifts would have been a little straw doll made by Dad.
Wood carving with
an orange, a wood carving of, God bless his house or something like that. And
underwear
somehow
and socks.
we, I don't know if we blame Coca-Cola for it or not, but it went from St. Nick to Santa Claus and from a holy man giving from his heart to an elf flying around
on
with 8
shelf.
tiny reindeer and a perverted shelf elf.
Well, I did like the movie Elf, since you're raising Elf.
Yeah.
And I just watched that with Will Ferrell, and that's still a good one.
I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to get into some stuff. I've seemed to be so just bogged down with other stuff.
Oh, you're not able to get into the season yet.
Yeah, and yeah.
You
So,
haven't discovered the true meaning of Christmas.
true meaning of Christmas. Well, I'm gonna try to promote that on Sunday a bit, and then I'll promote that on if I'm called upon to do it. I'm preparing something for Christmas Eve, and then I don't. By that time, I don't know if Ben, who's the pastor's son, might want to do the last Sunday. He does a great job preaching, so we'll see what happens.
I'm going to rein us back into the notion of budgeting for
the
Christmas.
budget. Well, we
and
need budget
talk
too.
about
Give money,
Canada, and talk about Chrystia Freeland, who was the Minister of Finance. Yes, something's happened. This week has been full of breaking news.
Yeah, and we were talking upstairs, and like everything now in this world, there's about 5 different pathways you can go down.
You mean going down as in you're out? Down and out in Beverly Hills? Or
for instance, okay, this was horrible. She said, horrible for Trudeau.
Chrystia Freeland, our Minister of Finance, resigned via letter.
A public letter.
But she was asked to change via Zoom.
Really? Was it by Zoom?
That's the scuttlebutt so far. I haven't
my
confirmed that, of course. It's just, have you heard?
And then, one of the little rabbit holes we go down is you brought it up, and then I saw the twinkle in your eye and said, maybe her and Trudeau are faking this whole thing to trick Trump into because Trump doesn't want her to negotiate.
That's right.
So if he says, okay, she's out, she's all mad now and ain't, but behind the scenes she's a negotiator. I don't know, because don't forget, Trump wouldn't be in it. She would be in the thing. And quite frankly, our beloved brothers, maybe they could just say, this is Cynthia.
Change your name.
Change your name and
change the emphasis on the one syllable and make it Chris.
So there's that. Was this all planned? I don't think so, really. I think Trudeau got under her skin, and I think he asked her to do something that she just thought was diabolical.
Well, here I think we have some clues. We do have a sense that she is, like yourself, more of a fiscal centrist. She wanted to say, if he's going to do tariffs, we better have a thrifty budget this time and keep our, what do they say? Keep our gunpowder dry for the negotiations.
Yeah.
And so don't spend it. But Trudeau wanted a Merry Christmas, and you are getting a HST, GST free on some things.
Well, that apparently it's a debacle of that in itself. I have taken advantage of it.
Well, that was one of the reasons she disagreed with Trudeau over, apparently.
Because what happens is, in reality, the government can't order a business to not take off the GST. So they can say, no, we're not taking it off. On the other hand, everybody knows the competition. You're going to go to the restaurant that takes it off. So I've been to one restaurant that the computer handled it all. I've been to another one where they had to all do it by hand. So this becomes a real problem for the staff. And don't forget, for the staff, in reality, I got to try to remember this. If you're tipping 20% with no GST, because I tip the full check, the full bill, I don't go back to the original, they get cut money.
Wow.
They don't get as big a tip.
Now, that takes us to another thing about tipping during the Christmas season. Do you tip more
I always, straight across the board, 20%.
Just, it doesn't matter whether it's Christmas or special?
No, all the time. If I'm going to go eat, I tip 20%. And if the GST's off, I still tip 20%.
You're not a more generous person during the Christmas season?
Oh, yeah, but it's not. That's what I said the other day at an LCBO. You want $2 for the... No, I said, no, I'm given to death here.
Yeah.
Everybody and his brothers got their hands out. I've already given to that cause already.
And there's probably the Salvation Army
Salvation
ringing the
Army
bells right there outside of the LCBO.
Salvation Army got me once, too, because they have these electronic ones. Have you seen it? $25, $10, $5?
No.
Well, the 5 didn't work. So what do? Walk away? $10.
Oh, they got you. They saw a sucker coming.
And okay, we're taking up a little fun for the pastor. Okay, well, of course, if I'm telling the congregation to do that, I did it. And on and on and on and on and on it goes.
So it's the season for giving.
It is, and
giving.
I really don't mind. Matter of fact, I'm hoping to get a little jar of. I can't accumulate change like I once did, but when I drove for a living, and I'd stop at the lights, I'd always have a little change, because the Bible says, "Give to whoever asks." And I don't ask what you're doing with the money. I don't ask, but I have a little bit to give, a toonie. I'd give a toonie, or whatever I had. But I used to have that in my work van. I had a little thing where the money was, where I could just dip it in. Yeah, there you go, thanks. Since I haven't been working that, I haven't done it anymore.
So you've become a bit of a Scrooge curmudgeon?
Yes, an involuntary Scrooge.
An involuntary Scrooge.
Yeah, involuntary Scrooge.
Oh, I've heard of incels, involuntary celibates, but I haven't heard of involuntary Scrooges.
I do like the idea of giving. I like that. I think it would be better if... I think it would be better if we stopped giving gifts to each other and just gave like that to the poor. Here's $20. Here's $20. Here's $10. Here's,
they do call that universal basic income, UBI. It was tried in the local community not too far from here. Lindsay, Ontario, was a test community. Living wage, UBI, universal basic income. Give everybody something that they can live on, pay rent on, and then let that money disperse in the community.
And then if you want more, go for more. I kind of like that idea. I'd have to see the results of that test or what happened.
Well, Ford canceled it, so.
Well, very conservative. So I can see
a conservative.
But I kind of like the idea because I thought you're always going to have the peer pressure to do better. You're always going to have your wife saying, "Well, how come they got a bigger car?"
Keep up
and you're always going to have a husband say, "Well, why don't you get a job?" And you're always going to have that. And that's what's happened to Christmas too. The corporations.
What do you mean? The Easter Bunny's getting in there and competing with Santa? What's going on?
Everybody's guilting you into buying unbelievable gifts and everything else. And some of the gifts that they suggest you buy people is just ridiculous.
Who's making the suggestions?
Well, of course, the manufacturers and the dealers want it all, right?
Everybody's in.
Why not give the gift of a vacation to Orlando, Florida?
I like that. Aren't you going to Florida?
Well, let's see if Trump's going to allow us in.
Is anybody giving it to? Oh, they won't let you in.
Well, you never know.
Well, they're talking about the illegal aliens in the United States. That could be you.
I can see.
They're going to stop you at the border.
Well, what's this tax going to do to what I have to pay?
I don't know. How much do you owe?
Oh, geez, it's Canadian up close, like $2,500, $2,600.
The Canadian dollars on a.
That's just tax and handling. I've already paid for the stupid timeshare.
Well, let's squeeze you into a bag of luggage and we'll take you on a carry-on. Great movie, by the way, Carry-On. A little plug. Christmas themes, budgets. We never did get to the bottom of the Christia feeling. Maybe we'll tackle that again and move on to other things.
Whatever you want, I don't care. I'm going to go astray.
I don't care.
Bye-bye.